South Korea. Yeah.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Israel giving all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Chakadash, the one to the apostles, the elders, GMS, Ruel. Salutations to you, Akim out there, pushing his word, truth, and sincerity, risking your freedom in your life to do so more so now than ever before. For we are close to the end, man. This is just a news update of what North Korea did. They test fired a intermediate range ballistic missile, and it was successful. So this is a video that I got from Instagram. The brother Yeramya, his page.
Has conducted
his page, man. So
other missile tests coinciding with Blinken's visit to South Korea. According to the South Korean military, the missile was an intermediate-range ballistic missile, and it flew about 700 miles out to sea.
North Korea carries out the first missile launch test since Trump's elections. Kim Jong-un's last missile test came on Election Day, and we're hearing that Kim Jong-un, he is not planning to play nice with Trump. But North Korea's Kim says the new hypersonic missile can deter Pacific rivals. And take a look at this. Now, this was back in late November. We had seen the new missile test shows that North Korea is now capable of hitting all of the U.S. mainland. At Pentagon, a North Korean nuclear attack would result in the end of Kim's regime. So a major warning coming out from the United States saying, listen, if you do decide that you are going to step things up and you're going to take these IRBMs or these ICBMs and strap a nuclear warhead to them and you try to attack, that is going to be the end of your regime. The United States, we will put an end to North Korea.
Has
Take these IRBMs or these ICBMs and strap a nuclear warhead to them, and you try to attack, that is going to be the end of your regime. The United States, we will put an end to North Korea.
So, as you can see, man, these nations are preparing for war. It's another video I'm going to play, but these nations are preparing for war, man, and this is all a part of prophecy. This is Matthew 24, verse 3. Matthew 24, chapter 3rd verse says, as he sat upon the Mount Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? So, the disciples came privately to Yahushua and asked him, what are the signs that we're going to have to look for when we know that you're about to return, all right? What's going to be the end of the world? And according to Ezra, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, the end of the world is the end of Esau's rulership, or the end of the kingdoms that rule in his life, all right? And the ushering in of Jacob's kingdom, the kingdom of heaven. So the disciples asked him, what do we have to look for? Verse 4 says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Let's jump to verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Now, this is not an actual conflict, but a rumor of a brewing conflict, okay? So this is considered a rumor of war. When North Korea test fire, because these nations don't test fire missiles or weaponry unless they plan on using one day. They don't test these things to make sure they work if they're not planning on using it. So their whole goal is to use it. So these nations are gearing up for the inevitable World War III, all right, where all nations got to pick a side. And it's going to be America along with NATO in the EU versus, the BRICS and all the nations that join forces with them. This is prophecy. It says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? So when we see these things, we're not to be troubled and be like, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? Because the Heavenly Father, through his son, is gonna redeem the elect of the nation of Israel. So we're not to fear this thing. And besides, this is not the end. This is not even close yet. You know, there's a few other prophecies that have to take place. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, the kingdom against kingdom. Right? So this is a form of them rising up. You see, this is the form of them upgrading their weaponry. It's a form of, them rising up to come up against Babylon the Great, aka America.
North Korea on
And there
Monday
should be famines,
claimed it
pestilence,
successfully
earthquakes,
launched
and
a new
diverse
hypersonic
places.
ballistic
All
missile.
these are the
According to
beginning
the
of
state
sorrows,
media
man.
on
It's
Tuesday,
happening now,
the
man.
missile
And that's
flew
why everybody's
932
sorrowful. So
miles
let's
at
play
12
this
times
video.
the speed of sound, reaching as high as 62 miles before hitting its target. The missile launch comes less than 2 weeks. According to the state media on Tuesday, the missile flew 932 miles at 12 times the speed of sound, reaching as high as 62 miles before hitting its target.
Yeah, look at that, man. The Heavenly Father is ill when it comes to his weaponry. 12 times the speed of sound, so that thing is like zooming in the air. You can't even see it.
Before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump returns to office. This is North Korea's first missile launch since U.S. Election Day last November. KCNA released photos of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un monitoring the launch with his daughter. Their report also said that the missile's engine section used carbon fiber, which is lighter and harder than other materials used in aerospace, but harder to make. They said the missile is able to, quote, effectively penetrate any dense defense barrier and inflict a serious military blow on the opponent. Kim called the missile a strong weapon against enemy threats and the changing regional environment. South Korea and the US condemned the launch. The South's acting president called the launch a serious threat to regional and global security. Seoul's military and the changing regional environment. South Korea and the US condemned the launch. The South's acting president called the launch a serious threat to regional and global security. Seoul's military.
Yeah, because now, the weapons, they're not putting troops on grounds, man. All they got to do is shoot one of these things and kill thousands of soldiers at once. This war, that's why this is going to be the deadliest and quickest war that ever take place on Earth, because all you got to do is fire a few ICBMs, man. You can wipe out millions of people at one time. That's why they said this is the war to end all wars.
The North's
Because
claims
essentially it's gonna
exaggerated,
end all
saying it did
wars.
not fly as far
It's
as the
gonna be
North
so
claimed.
bloody and deadly.
It also coincided with U.S.
to create
Secretary of
mass
State Anthony
destruction. It's
Blinken's
gonna
visit to
end
South
all
Korea,
wars.
who warned of Pyongyang's deepening ties with Moscow, including illicit cooperation on space and satellite technology. North Korea has been developing a new solid-fuel IRBM, part of a wider race to develop the next generation of long-range rockets that are difficult to track and intercept.
Yeah, man. So things are getting heated, man. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to them, woe to thee that spoileth, and thou was not spoiled. Right, because Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has been spoiling for years. According to his blessing, he was going to get the fatness of the earth and all good things through war and conquering. And so, he did a lot of spoiling. Spoiling means to take in the goods of others. He spoiled a lot. So it says, woe unto them, meaning destruction unto thee that spoiled and was not spoiled. Right, so you did all this spoiling and you ain't get spoiled yet. And dealt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Did that with Gad, overrun the country, took it over, and nobody dealt treacherously with him. When thou should cease to spoil, thou should be spoiled. And that right now, America is considered the height of its glory. Well, not anymore. It's considered a decadent society, meaning it's on a downturn. But now that they're ceasing to spoil, meaning they stop spoiling, they don't really go on lands and rob them as much as they used to. So when they just stop spoiling, they're gonna be spoiled, and that's why all these nations are increasing their weapon stocks, their inventory of weapons, the variety of weapons that they have to deal the most damage. And who they got their own? Really, America. says, and when thou shalt make an end to deal
has
treacherously,
conduct-
they should deal treacherously with thee. And that's why we see this ramping up of military grade
has
missiles,
conducted
and their target is America. You know, so we have to keep our eyes about what's going to take place. We know that we really looking for the MOTB. That's going to be the end all when they make it mandatory. But these are the war drones, man. This is just a few steps into the game of fulfillment of prophecy. So with that, want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, Bashim Chakadash, the ones to the apostles, the elders, the Jim, Masu Wuwa, Say Chichu, Akim. Tonight's video, Shalom.